I'm not going to get super angry at things, right? Maybe if I want, I could write that kind of stuff down, but I'm just going to feel it and try to realize what it is.
Yes.
And today it was because I have a busy afternoon, which is great, but I was like, oh, I don't have time to do this and I don't have time to do that, but I have time to do this, be here with you, and I have time to have a breathwork session.
Which
And
is incredible.
yeah, because I think that's us trying to plan everything and be the way you want it to be in control of it. And I don't want to be in control of things.
Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Authentic Creative. I'm so glad you're here. And before we begin, I invite you to place a hand on your heart to give yourself the deepest breath you've given yourself all day. A nice, slow, deep breath. Tell your system that it's safe to breathe, maybe even giving yourself a rebellious smile, letting your body soften. Letting the jaw soften, letting the shoulders soften, letting your mind rest, and just enjoying today's conversation with my friend, creator, and steady soul, Heather Dimick. This conversation was a beautiful one. It just flowed. It was authentic, truly. We had just come out of a transformational breathwork infused with Reiki session together that I shared with her. That sacred, spacious place where everything just feels open and tender and real. I read her a poem that came through at the end of her session called Becoming More Me, and it unlocked something for both of us. The old story is loosened, the voice returns, the compass points home. So Heather is the host of What's That Whisper, and I'll tell you more all about her as we get into it. She's the heart behind a line of simple, powerful reminders, affirmation, t-shirts, mugs, journals, all invitations to listen within. In our conversation, we explored what it means to heal the parts of ourselves that learned to be quiet, to find presence in motherhood, to build community rooted in truth, and to let go of the need to control. Can you relate? Listening back, what stands out most is Heather's quiet strength, her patience, her honesty, her devotion to growth. This exchange reminded me that we don't have to force our way toward transformation. We just have to create space, breathe, listen for the whisper. So if you need a reminder that you already hold the answers, this one is for you. Let's go. Hi, friend. If you've been dreaming about bringing your women together around beauty, truth, and transformation, this is your invitation. At Goddess of Light curated retreats, the heartbeat is the breath. The sacred space we create is anchored in transformational breathwork, infused with Reiki, and organic homemade meals prepared with care, intention, and love. These retreats are designed to melt armor, restore nervous systems, and awaken the deep knowing that's been waiting just beneath the surface. I offer 3 powerful ways we can co-create. Drop-in facilitator. I join your retreat to lead one potent breathwork and Reiki session or ceremony. This is the perfect way to elevate an already beautiful gathering with deep energetic anchoring. Full weekend presence. I stay with your group throughout the retreat, offering guided breathwork, Reiki, meditations, energy support, and presence, woven into every part of the weekend, including cacao ceremonies. Full retreat facilitation and production. I create the entire retreat for you. The space, the chef, the rhythm, the healing, all of it, every aspect. You gather your women, I hold everything else. This is for leaders who want to nourish and be nourished. For those who know it's time to come together and want to do this with elegance and ease and soul, this is for you. If your heart's been calling for this, you can reach out to me, Siri@sageblushwellness.com, or DM me on Instagram at Siri Baruch Thornton. Let's create something unforgettable. Welcome to the Authentic Creative, where we expand our capacity to feel good, one deep breath, one bold choice, and maybe a little bit of magic at a time. I'm Siri Baruch Thornton, healer, creative, and lifelong explorer of all things energy, self-expression, and joy. With over 26 years of experience in Reiki, Akashic Records, and transformational breathwork, I've learned that feeling good is not a luxury, it's a practice. And sometimes it's a little messy. This podcast is here to help you trust your intuition, break the rules, the ones that need breaking, and live more fully in your gifts. So give yourself a deep breath, get cozy, and let's dive in. I'm so delighted because I have a guest here today, and it's been a minute since I've had a guest, and so I'm really excited. And I just want to let you guys know that we just did a breathwork session, a transformational breathwork infused with Reiki session with my dear friend Heather. And she is
an incredible, powerful breathwork receiver, if you will. She has been at my in-person sessions. She has been at my Goddess of Light retreat previously. She has been online with me several times, and today she dove deep. So, just to preface this conversation with, we're fresh out of a beautifully vulnerable and expansive and soft and safe, but also like expressive session. And I'm going to let Heather share her experience of that. And also, of course, I want to share with you all about who she is and, what she's about. So, before I go into any of that, I just want to read you the poem that came through for Heather at the end of her breathwork session, because I think you guys are going to enjoy it, and I'm sure Heather will probably enjoy hearing it again. So it says, "Becoming more me, you carried her voice like a stone in your pocket, worn smooth by years of touching it, trying to understand why it still mattered, why it still hurt. You breathed until the stone turned to sand, until the story loosened its grip, until you remembered you never needed permission to be free. Anger softened into truth, judgment into compassion, and what remained was your own voice, steady and clear, a compass pointing home. Now space opens that demands more, the golden kind, that invites what is meant for you, the gentle yeses, the opportunities that arrive with ease. Keep showing up as you, the one who breathes peace into every room, the one who remembers you are not becoming someone new, you are remembering who you have always been." My intuition is that so many of us here are touched by those words because we all have a collective pain and a collective struggle and a collective understanding and a collective empathy when we drop into our truth. So, Heather is the host of the What's That Whisper podcast that I got to be on. What a blessing. And creator of What's That Whisper product line. She is passionate about creating and sharing simple reminders that encourage others to listen to the whispers within and recognize that they are the answer they seek. Through her podcast conversations and her uplifting products, affirmation teas, mugs, journals, and more, Heather helps others tune into their inner voice, release self-doubt, and believe in themselves more fully. Her mission is to inspire people to clear the clutter in the mind and home, hear their whispers, and follow them into a life filled with growth, joy, and possibility. A mom of 3, Heather also loves organizing, walking, sipping black tea, and connecting with her community on a personal level. She believes that when we hear and honor our whispers, we not only transform our own lives, but also give others permission to do the same. So, Heather, I have some questions for you, but before I start asking you some questions, I just would love to hear, how are you feeling? We haven't touched base at all since we finished your breathing. How was that for you? What's your experience of your own process, your own transformation? What is that for you?
Well, first I have to say it couldn't have come on a better day. I was like, I think I needed that today because, just after working 5 days this week, I'm like, it's ready. I'm ready to relax. And I already have a lot going on today. So I was like, that puts me in the right place for my days off so I can be present with my boys.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I feel really good and I feel very blessed that you shared that with me this morning. And I think a lot of things went through. I mean, things that you don't ever think you're going to think about it. And these are people I haven't thought about for years that went through my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should connect with this friend that I grew up with.
That's so fascinating you say that because that was a journal prompt last night when I was journaling before bed. It was like, who really sees you from your past that you need to connect with?
Yeah. And maybe she's thinking of me at the same time because last time that happened, my brother was thinking of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's that soul heart to heart connection that we sometimes take for granted. And I think that speaks so clearly to your mission in the world is listening to the whispers, tuning into who am I connecting to? Who do I need to connect to? Who's calling for me? What's my heart calling for?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of one time when I was probably like, I don't know, 12, maybe 13, I got slapped from a parent. So
As you do.
yeah, yeah. So I was remembering that moment in the car when I got smacked in the face, and then I was remembered another time I got told to be quiet. So it's
Sure.
nice to be out here sharing your voice because I didn't know it was going to be that far back that that was like a time in my life that I was told to be quiet. And maybe I was
Hmm.
speaking up and being a smart aleck,
Yeah.
but no one should be getting smacked in the face.
It's so fascinating how things come full circle that we get to be on both sides
Yeah.
because I think most people our age have experienced being smacked at some point in their life,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I think that there's so many of us that have shame around if we have children that have at some point smacked our kid when we completely lost control. And it's not something we tend to talk about. It's very, for me anyway, shameful and private and is filled with guilt and regret. So we're animals, like we are intrinsically human animal, but also animals. And I think that it's pretty normal to have those moments where we've lost control or our parents lost control. I think it's a matter of, though, did we experience that regularly enough as a child, whether it was a physical silencing or a understanding, a silent understanding, or a that just don't do that. And I catch myself being exactly how my mom was to me. My oldest Phoenix, he'll be making sounds, stimming, how kids are just
Boys make a lot of sounds.
outwardly expressing, very verbally vocal. And it, I'm like, ah. And then that's the thing that my mom used to do when I was singing around the house. And I was like, she doesn't like my voice. I shouldn't sing. I'm not good. My confidence crumbled. And yet she was just reacting to her nervous system that was feeling uneasy and my little tweaking of her nervous system. So it's all so interesting ancestrally how these things pass
Yeah, and
down.
this wasn't even one of my parents. This was just one of their friends, but it was just we had
There
a
you
long car
go.
ride together and it was the very end. So,
Oh, got it.
hey, we've all hit our limits at times and you feel like you want to just be like, be quiet. But I don't remember. I was just kind of funny because I thought about that thought before. And so that thought came up during the breath work that I was like, oh, maybe things like that stumbled. And one time I was kicked out of my house for back talking and my door taken off because I slammed it a lot.
Yeah.
So like all those the kind of things kind of happen.
Yeah.
And then you
And
hold
what do
on
we
to
make
them.
them mean? What do we
They're
do
not
with
even
that
that big a deal,
information?
probably. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
getting kicked out for that day, that was probably because I got in an argue with my dad. But,
It's so fascinating because when you go back and you breathe, and then these things come up for us, these deeper little moments, we get to kind of reflect on what we made those things mean, and then sort of get the spaciousness of maybe perhaps the possibility of I made it mean something that it doesn't necessarily mean. Like I made it mean that I'm not a good singer when my mom said, "Ooh, could you not?"
yeah.
And then in like what what do our kids make it mean? I think about that all the time, about how many times I mess up as a parent.
Oh, all the
And I
I even
say the
thought,
wrong thing, I do the wrong thing, I hurry them too much. In the breathwork with that second song that I played for you was all about the slowing down and like being present with our children. And I think one of the beautiful things about you, Heather, is you're so incredibly devoted to your children. And that is inspiring. And even when we were on one of our first get togethers at the beach, you were at the restaurant watching your son's football game, and that's the devotion, and I think that you'll never actually regret, when they've moved on and they go to college and beyond, you'll never regret that kind of devotion that you had for them because you know that you were fully present. And I think for me, like, I think about all the times that I have not been as present as I wish I could be or want to be.
oh,
But
I
then,
feel that way all the time. And then the
yeah,
other day, my son's like, I wish you didn't start this business. You're always on your phone. This is when I was putting him to bed. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't been on my phone all day. But
yeah,
I was like, okay, we'll make sure these little moments or the 15-minute car ride that we're not on our phones
yeah,
together because it's those little moments that we have together that you've got to put things set aside because we can get back to our to-do list later.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so good. And when you've been at my home, so you've come over several times and helped me to edit the
Oh.
whisper edit. What are we calling it?
I
What's
don't
the
know. It's just
name?
gonna be part of that whisper. I wrote like, oh gosh, what did we write? But I just want to be like your home edit, right? So our declutter edit. But something about that, we're just gonna put it all together.
The thing that I observed the times that you've been here at my home helping me whisper edit my closets, my office, my son's rooms, is your presence that is so steady and calm and inviting and not at all pushy. And really, what comes up for me when I go to do that whisper edit is all this resistance and this feeling of like the emotional weight of having to go through something that's buried in the closet. And it's so much easier for an objective person like you to just calmly be there. And on the surface, you're just helping someone edit their closet. But what's really happening is this deeper clearing that you're creating space for. And you're clearing space with that person without doing it for them. I've noticed you don't come in and do it for me. You don't lead me. You let me lead. And you're just there and calmly kind of making it feel very easeful. And then there'll be moments where I feel emotionally tired from going through the mental gymnastics of, do I wear this still? Do I get rid of this piece of clothing? I don't know. It's like maybe I'm going to need it again in 3 months if I get rid of it. And you're just calmly like there. And there's just something very encouraging but non-pressurized about that experience with you.
Yeah. Well, it allows you to help make the decision, right? In the end, it's like if we don't know about it yet, we could put it in the pile on the side and think about it, right? There shouldn't be any pressure. I have lots of stuff I have to get rid of still, right? But it's
It's
like,
so
and then
much
sometimes I
easier to
get
do it
attached.
for others.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But I mean, it's the same way you're doing with breath work, right? You're like clearing the mind and the body of stuff. But I think we do really hold on to a lot of things we don't need. And that's why I also like to write. Like, I don't need to hold on to all this stuff, and I like to have a clear space because then it keeps your mind a little bit clear, even if I have to shove it all in the closet, right?
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
met initially in Los Angeles at a Kathy Heller event at her home. And what a blessing that was, that was our opportunity to connect. Maybe we had connected previously in Portland, but I know we definitely continued to connect in the Portland area because you're in Portland, I'm in Camas, Washington. So we're like right on either side of Oregon and Washington from each other, but we're super close. And it's been this kind of steady, calm presence in my life that you've had, Heather. And I
Thank you.
think that's the gift that you carry is that you're not overwhelming, you're not overpowering, but you have a way of speaking truth. and very clearly and very calmly and not sugarcoating it. You'll just say it like it is. And I think that that is so refreshing to
Well, I want to say
me.
thank you to that because sometimes I feel like I should be more elaborate with what I talk about. Sometimes I am just very, maybe that's why I like the affirmation t-shirts, those little phrases, because it means so much with just little to say. And people have told me that I've been very forward before. But yesterday a lady goes, "You're very patient." And I was like, "Thank you for seeing me." So,
Yeah,
yeah. Because
exactly.
yeah, I just let her do her thing and it didn't take very long. It was just like, yes.
That patience is my whole life lesson. So I feel very in admiration of it. And I think the combination of your patience and your calmness and your gentleness, your voice, your presence, along with that straightforward, authentic truth telling is a really powerful combination. Whether it is you channeling that creatively through t-shirts and mugs and reminders, or whether that's sitting with someone while they go through something that's not easy for them to go through, whether
Well,
it's like their closet or their you know, their
relationship.
office
You're right.
stuff or
Yeah.
whatever that is. So it's really brilliant. And I'm curious, like, what do you feel, Heather? Because there's so many creative things that you do, and we've touched upon a few of them. But what do you feel in this moment is lighting you up the most?
I really do love enjoy doing my podcast. Like that is like
Yeah.
much fun because we get to have conversations like this. I am editing them at the last minute, so that sometimes gets stressful, but I get better every time. But that I'm like, I'm just never going to get rid of that. But we can tweak it and do it a different way that works better for me. Maybe I pick a different day, so that's not hard. I another friend we know, Anne Reed. I edited. We went through her closet and found new outfits with all the stuff she owns the other
I
night.
love it.
So that was a lot of fun and that really lit me up to do things like that because I was like, oh, I am good at this. Not that I was thinking I was bad at it, but it was just like, oh, this does feel fun and more natural doing it outside of work.
You can never have too much validation of what
Yeah,
you love. When you get that response from people,
right.
it just always feels so confirming. Because even if we know one aspect of our brain knows that we're good at something, it's our zone of genius, just having that little bit of a testimonial from someone just helps you to keep going. Because as an entrepreneur, we know it's a everyday uphill kind of like
Yeah.
pick yourself up, let's do this. We're our own boss when we're doing these things, so it's like there's no one else telling us to clock in, and so we live for those. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm just saying in general, I feel like as entrepreneurs we live for those moments of reassurance that we are making a difference. So it's interesting because you said your podcast light is lighting you up. That's the thing that's so much fun, and that you feel like you'll continue to keep doing that for as long as you can or as long as you want. And I'm curious, you've interviewed probably like what, 50 people or something? I
I'm
don't,
under 50 episodes, but at least 45,
I'm
40.
really
Yeah.
curious what that arc has been for you, Heather. Like, how did you start? What, more importantly, not how did you start? Because this isn't not a how-to episode, but
Yes, of course.
more importantly, why did you start? Did you get a whisper that your voice is meant to be heard? And then what got you to that point, that threshold of like, oh, I'm really gonna do this and I'm gonna make this happen? So let's start there.
Well, I mean, being in Kathy's community has really been eye-opening to like, oh my gosh, there are so many freaking possibilities that we can all do.
Yeah,
Hence, I'm cleaning out your closet or going to a friend's house and organize. Then if I don't want to do that later, I don't have to do that.
yeah,
Not if it doesn't excite me, all you have to do is try it. And when you try it with a closer friend, like I interviewed people that I felt comfortable with first, that made it really easy. So
yeah.
if I messed up, that's fine. But I think I did hear a whisper and I was like, and I was meditating and I was like, I'm going to be on so and so's podcast. Nope, it was the other way around. She was going to be on mine. So that was cool. So then I think, and then I started last January. So I had to first start with voice notes on my phone. And I was like, these are kind of boring. I just wanted to hear myself talk. And I've been writing for since I was 16. So I've already heard
Mhm.
own voice.
Hmm.
I feel like it could be a little weird if for someone to feel weird to get their voice out there if they haven't been writing or
Yeah.
sharing their voice in any way.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that I've been reading all my stuff to everybody, but I can hear myself talk and hear my own thoughts. So that
I
made
love
it
that. Yeah.
comfortable. Yeah. And just getting to and know all these people that I know in Portland, and I got to interview those. And it just gets more exciting because I didn't know there'd be so many opportunities to meet all these ladies.
What do you find was the whisper or the moment that pushed you into, just as the follow-up to the first part, into like, I'm gonna do this? Because I remember you being in my kitchen and being like, okay, I think I'm gonna do the next step. But what kept you, was it being in community with other women that
I
like
think
really kept you going?
that's a really good question. I think probably, yes, being around other people that are doing like-minded things, which that helps motivate you too. You're like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And then I think I had to develop like maybe a time frame for myself since I have a full-time job and like how I would do it. So then I put some other things set aside and just focused on the podcast. Like, I didn't work on making shirts and that kind of stuff. I just focused on working on my podcast, learning how to edit it and do all that stuff. So then I can invite something else back in.
And you're not a manifesting generator, you're a projector in human design, which is what your t-shirt says,
Yeah,
which
it
is so
does.
cool.
Yeah,
And I
that's
want
fun.
one of these
Oh
t-shirts.
yeah.
So if you guys are watching the YouTube version of this, you can see Heather's
I don't,
t-shirt. We'll
can I
also put
see?
a link in the show notes so you guys can check out these human design t-shirts, which are so
Yeah.
freaking cool.
Yeah, they
I
large.
don't I don't think anyone else has made a t-shirt like this yet. I haven't seen it yet.
No, and I have interviewed someone about human design on my podcast, so that was fun. And it's not something I don't know if I'll dive into to learn so much. I don't know if I want to sell things. That just sounds a lot of fun and to work with people one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of your podcast, you have interviewed a number of people that felt comfortable. And I'm curious if any of those people, I imagine, but I'm curious if any of those people have expanded you in ways that you didn't expect through the conversations that you had.
I mean, most definitely. Now I can't really think of someone right away, but I'm like, yes, because then I'm like, now I can interview that person. I had one, um, Allison J. Prince on there.
Mm, yeah.
Right. And I was like, well, because I had an opportunity to ask her. And then she kept postponing. And I was like, don't think about it. So I just was like, because anybody you're looking up to, I don't want to
Yes.
think about it and put the pressure on myself. I was just like, she's just another human. She already said yes. We're just going to wait. And it was about the postponing part. I didn't want to put the pressure on me before I got really nervous on the phone call, right? Or the
I think
Zoom.
that's okay. It's so important. First of all, let's back up. For people who don't know who she is, just can you give us like one word or sentence?
She does because I can. So I've been working with her group because she sells things online. So she's in e-commerce
Yeah.
business. So she sells things online. So I've been following her and in her community for quite a while.
And she has done, as far as I know, incredibly well.
Yes, she has multiple businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she does it in a way that's kind and
Yes.
easeful and fun. She's so easy to listen to and just has a heart of service. I feel like that's what you and her have in common. So that conversation felt a little bit like a stretch, like, ooh, am I
Yeah, a
gonna
little
get to
bit.
have this
Yeah.
conversation? I love those kind of conversations where you're just like a little bit scared. I get scared every time before I go live on my
I mean, I
podcast.
was a little nervous I think with everybody, I was a little nervous because I don't want to screw it up and I don't want to waste someone's time, especially if I haven't met somebody really, or because we're closer, so that's different. But I was like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want it to be good. But then just like you got to take a couple deep breaths. Our breath work,
Yeah.
you're relaxed before it happens.
Yeah. So you mentioned meditating.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have you always meditated? When did you start doing that? What's that process like for you? How does it help you to listen to the whispers when you
Um,
meditate?
I Well, I've been doing it now for the last few years, but I
Yeah.
had done it prior years and years ago. So
Okay.
and I think, I mean, going for walks and, being in the forest and floating on a lake is a meditation as well.
Yes, the
Yeah.
best.
So, I mean, there's all that too. And talking with friends and journaling, I think that's part of it. But I just think, and I try to make time for it, even if it's just on my lunch hour, you know. I forgot the beginning of the question, but I just try to keep
Well,
it in my life
it,
because it does make me feel more
yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, the question is really about how does that meditation help you to tune into those whispers, to
Oh,
tune into the inner voice,
yeah,
the
most definitely.
authenticity, the truth.
Well, just like even doing your breath work before, like at the very end, my fingertips were tingling, and I was like, I'm just gonna let them tingle for like it was like 5 minutes. And I was like, our body has so much energy in there, and I was enjoying that. And I
Mm.
think it just sometimes there's just so much on our mind. It's so nice to get quiet, and even if it's for 5 minutes before you go into your job and
Yeah,
get quiet.
yeah.
I say all that because I work and I have all these other things that I get to do. And so I try to fit it in when I can and not make excuses that I can't do it.
Yes, yes. And so, in terms of the whisper, where did that originate? Is that something recent? Has that been a word for you for a long time? And what does that in particular mean to you? What does that feel like to you when you hear the whisper?
I kind of, I'm not quite sure how I came up with the name on the day, but
Okay.
it's been a whisper, of course. But I think I've seen a lot of people in my life not do anything after not do anything with their life. And that makes me sad, of course. Right. So I'm like, they have to have a whisper inside. They just want to
Hmm.
be at their house every day and live that. And especially with a mom that struggles with drinking and
Hmm.
growing up around substance abuse. So then I moved at 17.
Yeah.
So I moved out because I was like, I'm not going to be in this. This isn't the lifestyle for me.
Hmm.
So that was really important. I think, and I have whispers of my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that if we talk about our own whispers, then people will be like, yes, I have a whisper as well. I should start listening to it. We can come up with a million excuses to not listen to things and to
Hmm.
not do things.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes we hold on to whispers for a very long time.
What is your, do you have splenic authority in human design?
Oh my gosh, I wish I knew. It's on my phone.
So the reason I bring that up is because my husband is also a projector and he needs to be really quiet internally in order to hear the ping as a projector. If he misses the ping, he misses the ping of that inner knowing, that spark of knowing. And I do know, and we all know, that in order to hear a whisper, I mean, there's teachers that specifically when a classroom is noisy, which is like the macrocosm of what's inside our mind, when the classroom is noisy, we cannot hear. But if a teacher whispers, everyone all of a sudden brings it down a bit. And so instead of yelling at the students or yelling at ourselves, our noisy classroom mind, we can kind of bring the voices down by whispering or
Well,
listening to that whisper. So it's like getting quiet enough to hear the whisper.
I must be very much like your husband because I will go and work by myself a lot at work because I like it. I'm like, I don't need a bunch of chatter. It doesn't even matter if we're talking about. I just want to go do my own thing. Because
Yeah,
it's quiet because you're talking to people all day. So it's like then you have 10 minutes to yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, especially when you're giving at work and like you do, you give a lot in your job. So it's nice to kind of reflect and be quiet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. I remember Steven Spielberg said years ago that his imagery and his visions, like for E.T., for example, or any of his movies that he's created, that they always have come in a whisper, and that genius always comes in a whisper. So I love that this is your theme. I want to ask you, what does that actually look like for you in real time? Like, because some people might not have ever had the experience of receiving the quotes whisper. So could you try to describe it, what that is for you when it
Like how I
comes?
found quotes or just how it
How
came
that
in.
experience of receiving that whisper, like how, I know it's very hard, hard to put into words, but what is that for you? What is the experience of it? Is it a sound? Is it a vision? Is it an actual whisper? Is it words that you see? Is it a feeling? Is it a knowing? What is that for you in particular?
I feel like a lot of time, well, for quotes, it's things I've listened to and I've written down quotes that speak to me and whether I use them or not. So I feel that way. When we were doing the breath work, I actually felt for somebody and I got more emotional for someone else.
Yeah.
So, and I really try to, I mean, I listen to what people say, and I think sometimes as projectors, you're supposed to wait for the invite, right? So that's
Hmm.
not always saying you just said I'm kind of blunt in a way, right?
Hmm.
Make sure I'm not always saying that straight. Then I just like, oh, this is what they should say, or I think so. Then I kind of use that as a whisper what other people are looking for. Because it's not about me. Yes, I'm here doing it, but it's not about me. It's about listening and tuning into the whispers that are around me.
Yeah, listening
Uh,
into daily life is what I hear you saying.
yeah.
And so,
Because you're like, if they had a hug for me or just a shirt as a reminder, then they know how powerful you really are.
yeah, it's like what you're talking about is really just tapping into like this deeper intuition of not just yourself and your mind and your knowing and your heart, but like also tapping into what other people as a projector, especially like that perspective that you can give other people from that zoomed out place. So,
I really think that's where I come from.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your affirmation teas, your mugs, your journals, they're like physical reminders of inner truth. So, how do you move from hearing the whisper to turning it into something tangible that someone's going to buy or that you're going to sell that others can hold and they can wear and they can drink from each morning? Like that kind of more, like I see it as going from this amorphous, almost unseen, intuitive piece or knowing or quote to then you're taking it from that space and then you're putting it into the tangible where people can like drink from it.
Well, that's a lovely way to look at it, Siri. Because, like, right, you have an idea, but maybe instead of feeling overwhelmed, like we could all feel overwhelmed, you just start with one product and you get your website up, or you put it on Etsy, and you just start there. So I just started with a couple ideas, and some of those ideas I've deleted since they were on there because it's like I've gotten better. And
Yeah.
like I said with the podcast, starting there, I have just practiced all these little things that you have to do. And honestly, like having an online business is learning all the tech, and
I,
having a podcast is the tech. And that's the most stressful part. But I get up and I walk away or go for a walk or take a drink for my tea,
I
right?
remember meeting you at a cafe and the first time you ever showed me the t-shirts that you were making. And now seeing the t-shirt that you're wearing now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've watched the evolution of your
Yeah.
t-shirts, and it's so true. You've iterated and iterated and iterated. And I think a theme that I'm hearing come up in this conversation that you're sharing is this permission to not do it perfectly, but to just get started, do it messy, as we both have learned, and
Yes.
then to like keep tweaking based on your own feedback, based on other people's feedback. And as you keep going, if you don't give up and you keep listening to those whispers, it is going to continue to evolve and get better. The podcast has gotten better.
I,
You've gotten better and better and better and better guests, and you'll continue to get better and better guests. And same with the t-shirts and all the things you're
oh, I
doing.
most
Like,
definitely.
yeah.
Right. And that's why for that couple months it was just about the podcast. So then I can go back to the shirts and then start talking about those. Otherwise it's too much. Then you feel like you have to always be on social, but that's not where everything comes from.
Ooh, talk to me about that, please. Because
Social?
I have had an addiction to social media and I very much love it, but I also notice how it cripples certain aspects of my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious what you've done to manage that for yourself, or maybe that's
Sometimes
not
I
something
just,
you feel like you have
yeah,
to.
sometimes I don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I think I don't like the pressure of feeling that I have to do it. Right. To put
Mm-hmm.
on there, or like, oh, I need to come up with a post idea today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a quote, and that's simple. And I make it really simple on myself. It's like a quote, something about the shirts, and maybe something about myself.
Yeah.
Like that, not that I don't have anything to talk about. I'm like, I don't know what to share today. I didn't take any videos of myself today. So that's where it's like you get kind of stuck, but that doesn't really matter. I think just showing up and maybe commenting on other people's stuff, but I don't want to be on my social all the time because, right, my son's going to tell me I'm on my phone all the time.
Yep.
But I just, because I know we can create entrepreneurship outside of social, but it is part of it.
Hmm.
And I mean, I like the engagement that I get to talk to people. And I've even met other people there. And I was like, well, maybe I'll ask them to be on the podcast.
I'm curious, since you've been in a couple of powerful communities, Kathy Heller's community, Allison J. Prince's community, and I'm not sure what other communities you may or may not have been in, but and this is definitely putting you on the spot here. This whole time, obviously, I'm like asking you.
Oh,
None of this is prepared, guys. So thank you, Heather, for just being so willing to play ball here. But like, what do you feel like is one of the most potent lessons that you've extracted from these various communities? And maybe you could tell us, what's on the top of what's the whisper from the Kathy Heller community that's like most potent for you?
Oh, I don't know if I'll start there, but I mean, honestly, I have this whisper for a reason, so I'm not going to give up no matter what, right? So we're going to make new shirts because the other ones were like, not so good, right? But I think just being in Kathy, I think both of those communities and Allison, she's just like, get out of your head, do the work. Don't just watch tons of videos. You have to actually do the work. So that's nice because she was a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So she teaches you like that. Okay, here's like your worksheet. Do that. So that helps to keep you organized because you can feel overwhelmed. I think
Yeah.
I love the video you posted the other day where the lady woke up for her day off and she had about 100 ideas of what to do for her day and did nothing.
Right.
So that's
Because
me almost every day that I have a day off because it's 2 days and then today and tomorrow is filled with football,
yeah,
which is great. But I
so
just
relatable.
Yeah, so just being in those communities remind me I'm doing this for a reason and it's not really for me. So it's for something else. And it is for me as well because I get to grow as a person.
Yeah, I think that connection to that you keep bringing back up is like it's not just about you. It's about community. It's about tapping into other people's ability to show up in the world and be on what I call their mission. So I see you also, Heather, as an encourager, and
I'm like a
there's
high
this
fiver.
mutuality of you cannot encourage someone else like we do on our podcasts, like we both do. We cannot encourage someone else, whether it's like sitting with them to clean out their closet or, telling them how amazing they are on your podcast without feeling encouraged. And when someone else in your communities that you're in shows up and in their full authentic self, expressed all of them in their truth, you can't help but feel like, I want to do that too. So, two things. One, I think that just speaks to the power and the potency of being in community, which I think you and I both value so deeply. And whether that's online or in person, that community aspect is just the mutual inspiration is so important. It's almost like a forever symbol that just we feed each other in that way. And then the other piece is just like how we continue to stay inspired so that we are, coming back to our own knowing, our own highest authority. So, do you feel that there are certain, I mean, I know you mentioned journaling. Obviously, we did breath work to start today with. You're obviously in these communities that are so supportive and inspiring. You doing your podcast. Do you have your clients. What do you feel like fills your cup? Because you're such a devotional mom, you're a devotional wife. You have your home that you run and all these things that you do. Like what are the like maybe top three things? Is it creating like a new design for a t-shirt? What are those things that really, as a mom, as an entrepreneur, fill your cup?
I think just pushing myself and learning new things is really fun and getting out of my comfort zone. That's why even when we were talking about social, and you're really comfortable on social, but it's like sometimes even just doing one post a week if you're not comfortable being on social. And honestly, I want to push myself even further and
Mm,
get more out of it. That's why I was talking about getting slapped because I was like, oh, well, that was a way that kind of made me a little more quiet. There's other things too that happened in my life,
Of
right?
course.
Of course, little things, right? But they're little that ended up being heavier. So I think it's time to just talk more and be open more. And I think we hide and we don't realize that we're hiding.
Right.
And it could be a little hide. It's,
Yep.
oh, you just didn't tell your best friend something, such and such, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I forgot the beginning of your question.
The three things
Oh,
that,
three things, yes.
and guys, we just did breath work, so it is a challenge
I'm
that
very relaxed.
I put my guests into this kind of challenging swirl of love. You know, it's like the opportunity to speak your truth and kind of be in your head while also having just done breath work is
I, yeah,
it's a thing.
I'm also a busybody in a sense, right? But I've also learned to relax. So I've learned to be not busy just for the sake of being busy, but I like to have things to do.
Yeah. So
Because that gives me
it's
a purpose, right?
yeah.
And it's like, oh, now I'm showing my kids I can do all these other things and then they can do what they want. And we were talking about being a community. My kids are in sports. That's a community. Kids are in different activities, but sometimes the parents forget to be in some kind of activity or something that gives them support. Whether it's just going out with your girlfriends, but make sure it's not your girlfriends that are always complaining about their life and living from lack.
Mhm.
It's people that lift you up.
Oh my gosh, Heather, I went to Bastion yesterday with Megan and my new friend Amanda that you have to meet and I'm so excited for you to come and meet Amanda and
I met her at the opening.
oh, there we go.
Mhm.
Yeah, so point being, it delighted me to no end to connect with a new girlfriend yesterday and with Megan and to be in support of Marnay at Bastion at her restaurant. Like I smiled the entire drive home. I didn't have to listen to a podcast. I didn't need music. I didn't need to talk to myself out loud, which sometimes I do lately. I just was smiling with joy, like, oh my gosh, the heart to heart connection of a new friend. And so that feeling of in person community, oh my
Well, and
gosh.
just before this, I was talking to some girlfriends online and I cut it short to be with you, of course, but we were just talking about our parents and just like
Mm,
our people that have a hard life, that have a hard time and don't ever want to heal. So that's a very deep connection. And sometimes you don't always have that with people you meet, but that's the connection I want. Those are the connections I do at work. Not
yeah.
digging deep right away with them, but I honestly want to be real with everybody that I'm near.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
not everyone is going to resonate with that authenticity.
Yep. You read the room, that's for sure.
And sometimes there's a timing, you know, because for you and me, I don't feel like we found our stride until like a year ago, but we've known
Yeah.
each other for a couple years or so,
It's almost been 2 years.
you
Yeah.
know, and so sometimes it's a slower burn or a slower click. But I think that it's a timing thing too, and just like trusting that the right community, the right people that are going to resonate with your ability to cut through the BS and to just say what's so, they just show up and the
Well, what
other
about
ones fall away.
yeah, what about if I was just thinking all these bad thoughts? Siri doesn't like me or something, something, and all these negative thoughts about being in the group with you guys and not just letting them bloom naturally. We also have kids and businesses and work and all these, and people sometimes forget that life is busy, that we
When
think that
you're,
it's all about
yeah,
us.
when you're older and you're not just like every weekend is just like sports and play dates.
Great.
You know, when you have all the responsibilities of being an adult, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, having a full-time job like you have, so many of us have such a challenge to cultivate anything new. So the fact that you are doing these, you know, pushing yourself, listening to the whispers, getting out of your comfort zone intentionally, like going into these communities that intentionally push you out of those old comfort zones, those old ways of being, that you're making these massive leaps for your whole line of ancestry. And I think that is so brave. And then your kids see this. They see what you're doing. They see, even if they don't name it, they see the creativity. They see the inventiveness. They see you putting yourself out there, doing your podcast, going into these communities, really having your own life outside of just what they're doing. They see this. And I
So
think
important.
that informs them and informs their children. And we're setting an example without even realizing how much of an example we're setting.
Yeah, you said ancestry, and I did during breath work. I thought about my great grandma, maybe because we mentioned her a little bit last night with my mom and grandma. But I was like, oh, she was like giving me a hug, so that was really nice too. Um, right? So
Yeah.
you can know who you're going to meet in your breath work. I'm telling you.
So, as a mom of three, Heather, a creator, and someone who deeply values simplicity and presence, how do you stay connected to your own whispers when life feels full or noisy? And what do you hope that people begin to hear when they start creating a little more space in their lives? Let's just kind of wrap up with that.
Great. Well, I can think about maybe like how I was feeling this morning, or like there's been a couple days at work. I'm just like, I just feel like, ugh, I want out of my body. I want out of my life right now. I just like everything
Yeah.
feels stressful, and I was feeling that way. And I honestly allow myself to feel those feelings.
Mm.
And I'm just like, I think if I let that process and not try to ignore it, I'm not going to get super angry at things, right? Maybe if I want, I could write that kind of stuff down, but I'm just going to feel it and try to realize what it is.
Yes.
And today it was because I have a busy afternoon, which is great. But I was like, oh, I don't have time to do this and I don't have time to do that. But I have time to do this, be here with you, and I have time to have a breathwork session.
Which
And
is incredible.
yeah, because I think that's us trying to plan everything and be the way you want it to be in control of it. And I don't want to be in control of things.
Mm.
And I think I've learned that growing up. I couldn't be in control and I wasn't my surroundings growing up. And that's what has probably made me a calm person besides being down to earth, but an earth sign too.
Wow.
Um,
Oh my gosh, that is such a brilliant piece of wisdom to end on is this piece about I don't want to be in control because Heather, that is so rare for anyone to say that. I've literally never heard anyone say that before. And I think that is probably the ultimate like Dalai Lama key to life is to say, I don't actually want to be in control, to flow down the river, to surrender, to let go, to know that that is just an illusion, that sense of control. I think that's literally the key to all of it.
yeah.
So
Well,
thank you for that whisper.
hey,
There's
thank
a
you.
new t-shirt for you if you haven't already made that
Want to
one.
be, we have lots of ideas. No, because I realize how I am every day, like at home or at work, around my kids, and like what role am I playing, or around my mom.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play those roles anymore. Not that, of course, I want to be the kind person that I am, but sometimes you always want to step into the conversation and say your part or tell somebody else what to do because everybody
Mm,
wants to fix everybody. I don't want to play that role anymore. And not,
yeah.
yeah, and I've, depending on what degree I've been playing that, but I just
Yeah.
want to observe and let everybody think, and that, yeah,
Mm.
everybody
I
needs to
need
do their
that.
own
I need
thing
that medicine, Heather. The just observe and not try and fix anyone. I think
because,
that
right?
that's revolutionary. Yeah, it
I see
really
my
is.
kids doing it to each other all the time. I tell someone what to do, the other two tell them what to do, the same thing. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
I'm like, they already know what to do, but it's just, that's more sibling stuff, but it's pretty funny.
Well, and that's what you say in your bio is that you talk about recognizing that they are the answer they seek.
Yes.
And again, that is some of the deepest wisdom that I've come across in my lifetime so far is that we are the answer that we seek. My teacher who's passed, Michael Tamora, who I learned meditation from for years and years and years, that was the name of his book. You are the answer. And I think so many spiritual teachers have said this over the years, like we are the answer that we seek. And lately I've been writing in my journal, what I seek is seeking me. And then yesterday, Megan pulled out an affirmation card for me. It said, what I seek is seeking me. And it's just like if we look for these whispers from the universe, we're going to see more and more and more of them.
Yes.
So I'm curious what you would like to tell people in terms of any offerings. What's the thing that you would like them to seek out? Are there maybe a couple things that we're going to put some links in the show notes here?
Yeah. Well, I'm launching my shirts on October 18th, so we can do a 25% discount code for
Yay!
listeners. So we'll put I guess we'll say Siri 25.
Woohoo! I love it.
So I'm going to
That's fun.
do bundles for the holidays. There's going to be combinations with journals and mugs and
Oh, I love it.
sweatshirts and t-shirts. So there'll be some cool combinations coming up for the holidays. That's what I'm working
Amazing.
on. I just
Amazing.
really appreciate you having me on here, and you see me, so that's really nice.
Hmm.
And you have really good questions, and even you just reading my bio, I was like, wow, that's a really nice bio.
Doesn't it feel good to have your bio read?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
think
that is
so.
what I'm working on. So you can read it to yourself 100 times. It just sounds special when you hear it out loud.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Heather, for having me on your podcast and for continuously showing up as a friend to my karaoke birthday parties, to my home, to my podcast, to my classes, to my retreats. You're such a devoted friend, and I appreciate you very much. So thank you for just always being there
My
and being
pleasure.
so supportive and seeing
Yeah.
me. And I
You
think
want-
that we're just going to keep lifting each other up more and more and more and growing together. And it's very exciting. So, guys, feel free to look at the show notes, check out Heather's links if you want to get into what she's got going on. And also, I think that if they have ideas or like a retreat like I have, and they have something that they want to put on a t-shirt, you could probably help them with that
Yeah, I
too.
have been doing collaborations like that, making t-shirts for the, I
Yeah,
mean, I have all the stuff set up. Why not?
nice.
Yeah. And you could
Okay.
also hear some more whispers at What's That Whisper on Apple.
Yes, go check out her podcast. Thank you guys for being here with us along the ride. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good. If you have any questions for me or for Heather, feel free to reach out to us. What's the Instagram handle that you want them to go to?
Well, honestly, everything is What's That Whisper.
Okay,
And
perfect.
everything else will be linked in there if you need more in the bio, but all my stuff is What's That Whisper to make it easy.
Perfect. All
Thanks.
right, guys, listen to the whisper.
I love
We'll
that.
see you next time. Loving you. Bye for now.
Do you ever feel like you're pouring out for everyone else while your own well runs dry? Do you long for a space where you can stop performing, stop managing, stop holding it all together, and simply be held? That is what the Goddess of Light retreats are for. For 3 nights on the banks of the Sandy River at Mount Hood, you're invited to lay it all down, to breathe deeply, to let the noise fall away, and to remember the part of you that's radiant, whole, and free. You'll be nourished by Chef Marne and the Bastion team with meals that feel like medicine. You'll be opened through sound and Reiki with Dawn's healing vibrations. You'll be moved to tears by the music of Lola Christine and Megan Sky. You'll be held in ceremony, breathwork, sisterhood, and laughter that remind you what it feels like to come alive again with me. This is not just a little getaway. This is a homecoming, a chance to release the exhaustion, the self-doubt, the constant doing, and to walk away anchored in joy, confidence, and a circle of women who sees you. Upcoming dates, March 15th to 18th, 2026, May 3rd to the 6th, and October 4th to the 7th, 2026. Spaces are limited because the circle is intimate by design. If your heart is whispering yes, answer it. Reserve your place. Link in the show notes. Come home to yourself. Come be a part of the light. Today's conversation stirred something in you. Here are a few ways we can go deeper together. So the Authentic Creative Podcast, where you are now, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss more conversations like this. And if you loved this one, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Goddess of Light retreats, sacred gatherings in Mount Hood Village, Oregon, along the Sandy River, where we step away from the noise and remember ourselves through breathwork, Reiki infused ceremony, sisterhood, nourishment. You can explore upcoming retreats, link in the show notes, or go onto Instagram at Siri Brooke Thornton. Find me, email me, however you want to do it. Let's get on a conversation about that. One-on-one work for private Reiki, breathwork, Akashic sessions where we can go right into your unique medicine. You can connect with me directly. And then coming soon, Zoom community. This is going to be a low-cost circle for breathwork, cacao, spiritual tools, soul-deep connection from anywhere in the world. So you can reply to this, reach out to me once again. Thank you for being here, for listening, for expanding your capacity to feel good alongside me. I'm sending you love, and I can't wait to connect again soon. Loving you.